Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel.
If you don't already know, we are here because we went viral on the internet. We posted some pictures from our anniversary and Twitter really liked them. Now we're getting a lot of DMs. The most common question that we get is how we met. So we're gonna tell you guys that story today.
How we first met. Once upon a time, Anjali and I were mutuals on Tumblr for 7 years.
We never really interacted. We would just reblog each other's stuff. I would read her poetry.
And so we migrated from Tumblr to Instagram.
At one point, I saw this Instagram post that Sufi had made, and she had her hand behind her head, and she captioned it, "Bambi lesbian." And I, honest to God, had no idea what Bambi lesbian meant. I thought that she just said Bambi because the kurta that she was wearing had brown and pink and white polka dots on it, so I thought she looked like a deer.
I didn't know that.
I looked at it and I was just like,
She slid into my DMs.
Even though she archived this post, I remembered it. 2 months later, I reached out to her saying, hey, I think I'm bi. I don't really have any queer South Asian community. Can we talk about it?
I was really surprised when she DM'd me and I thought it was cool. So I sent her 2 podcasts that she actually listened to. I didn't think she was going to. One of them was from Kuing Desi and it featured DJ Mayali. We had a discussion about it and then we called each other a few times and she FaceTimed me. I thought she was cute.
I wasn't trying to slide in her DMs.
That's what she said.
I genuinely wanted community. At the time, I was in a relationship with a man. I just wanted to have someone to talk to, and I was really lucky that Sufi was down to be there for me. And I did think that she was cute too. I used to travel a lot for work, so every once in a while at the end of the week, instead of flying straight home, I would fly somewhere else. So I decided that in May I was gonna go visit my best friend Sagri in New York. So I reached out to Sufi and I said, hey, I'm gonna be in New York in May. Do you wanna hang out?
Okay, just a side note, she reached out to me 4 months before she actually came. And it blew my mind, like she gave me an actual date and are you free that day at 10 a.m. Looking at my calendar like, yeah, I'm sure I am. I'll reserve that time spot for you, and it just goes to show like what happens when a Capricorn dates a Leo. I had planned for us to go to the MoMA and then hang out around Central Park and get to know each other. But Anjali calls me the night before and says, hey, my friend Sagri works at XYZ. She got us free tickets to go up to the Empire State. My initial thought was, hey, I'm not a tourist. I was born and raised in New York. I'm not gonna go up to an observatory to look at my city like I've seen it. And I spoke to a friend about it. He was like, dude, you're getting free tickets to this thing and you're going with a pretty girl. Like, why would you not go?
Did you say that?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, you're right, I'm going.
At this point, I was single, so I was really nervous to go meet her.
I knew she liked me before we met. Like literally an hour before we met. She like sent a mirror selfie of herself in her outfit and she's like, is this cute?
I didn't know how dating a girl worked. I was just stressed out. I ended up getting on the train. I did my little transfer. I'm riding the train for 40 minutes and I get off and I'm like, I'm still in Brooklyn.
Definitely not a New Yorker.
So at this point, I was 2 hours late, which now, you know, it's set a precedent. We're 2 hours late to everything. By the time I reached the city, the whole time that we were supposed to be at the museum had passed. So we ended up just meeting straight at the Empire State Building.
I met Anjali directly in front of it and then we went inside and met 2 of her friends, are now my good friends too. And it was sort of intimidating for me, right? Because I was meeting this person from the internet for the first time who's really pretty. But I was also meeting her friends who were also really pretty and all brown and queer. I didn't think that it was a date at all. I just thought that I was hanging out with a girl. I didn't expect anything from it. The moment that we started hanging out, I was like, whoa, she's cute. I actually brought my camera with me and Anjali was super nervous when I started taking pictures of her. And so I do this thing where I speak to my subject, right? Because when you're photographing someone, you're photographing their soul. And it's really important for them to be comfortable around you. I'm talking to her and I'm trying to make her laugh. And as soon as she laughs, like I go click.
I was like, Are you humans of New Yorking me? I read somewhere that guy who runs the blog asks his subjects to tell him a story about themselves so that they open up and then he gets a really good picture of them. So I was just like, you're so cheesy.
I mean, it worked.
So then the time came for my friend to return her free pass to go up to the top of the Empire State. The security guard kind of helped us out because we hadn't been to the upper deck yet and we really wanted to go. So he was like, you know, you can return your pass and you can leave your friends up here. Sagri was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go.
So we're getting into the elevator to head to the top floor, and I don't know why, but for some reason I got this feeling that Anjali was gonna hold my hand. And as soon as I did, as soon as the doors closed, Anjali grabs my hand for the entire ride up, and I go, whoa. It felt like magic.
My friends loved Sufi. They ended up inviting her to come for a picnic with us to Bryant Park. So we put out a picnic blanket.
It was so funny because me and Anjali were just like in this bubble the entire day. We were just lying on the grass on this picnic blanket and just staring into each other's eyes and being hella gay. There's obviously something stirring up there. After the picnic, we ended up at Whole Foods. I recall there's like intensity going on in between me and Anjali where we were just staring into each other's eyes. I could tell that she wanted me to kiss her. I was gonna make the move, and I feel like the slightest move that I did make as I got closer to her, she just looked so nervous. I was like, this poor girl, I'm not kissing her in a Whole Foods right now in front of all these people.
You're right, I did want you to kiss me, but I was really scared. So my friends, like I said, really loved Sufi and invited her to come to a queer dance party with us the next night. Sufi comes over to Sagri's place to get ready. She shows up with a cake because she didn't want to come to someone's house for the first time empty-handed, which is the most Daisy thing ever, and I thought it was so cute. It said queer fam on it.
And so she's like in the kitchen by herself and everyone's getting ready in the room. I walk up to her like Shah Rukh Khan and I'm like, eh, la 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 la. We sneak in a kiss and I look at her and I turn away. I turn back again and she's like,
the way that I think of it is so different. I'm taking my little picture in the kitchen and she scurries in like and then she like runs away and I'm just like, did that just happen? But in her head, we'll let her have it, you know. She was like big time Bollywood hero. That evening, Sufi drove us to the party and Sufi and I found ourselves alone again because we went to go park the car. So we dropped our friends off. Our friends texted us and they were like, if you need to use the bathroom, go somewhere else because there are only porta potties at this queer dance party. And we started walking, we wandered into another bar and we found a photo booth. And we took 2 strips of photos together.
We love photo booths.
We spent so much money in them because we never liked the first take.
So we always take another one. So we get to the end of the night, and the end of the night turns out to be 4 a.m. and it's pouring raining by the time we're driving home. And our friends knock out in the back, they fall asleep. And Anjali's sitting with me in the front. She's holding my hand the entire time. And she stays awake with me for that 1 hour drive that we did from the city to Brooklyn. I was like, wow, that's a wifey. That's a whole ass wifey.
Sufi ended up staying over because we got home so late. The next day, we went together to the bodega down the street and...
Bodega! I think she's a New Yorker.
I've been educated. It's not called the corner store, it's called the bodega. So we went to the bodega to go get breakfast, supplies for everyone. We came back and we had a whole crafternoon. It was just the most wholesome, queer, brown person day ever.
That weekend holds a really special place in my heart because not only did I meet Anjali, but I met 2 really good friends who helped me explore my queerness in different ways, and it was just filled with safe spaces everywhere. It was magical, to say the least.
That night after our crafternoon, I was supposed to go out to Jersey to go visit my mom's cousin. I have a really big family.
Really big family.
I don't get very many opportunities to go and see everyone, so I really wanted to go and visit my maushi. So I was supposed to take the train, but it was a Sunday night, so they weren't that frequent. So Sufi was like,
I'll drive you. I drive her everywhere now, so.
But basically, she offered to drive me and I was like, no way, you're not gonna drive me, it's so far. But then Sufi had me pull it up on Google Maps and it turned out that it was gonna take me 4 hours to get to Jersey with like a bunch of connections in between. So she was just like, stop talking now, I'm gonna drive you.
And I did. So the drive wasn't that bad. It was about an hour and a half, and we just talked a lot. I just wanted to get to know her as much as I possibly could because she was only there for such a limited amount of time.
So we get to my family's place and we say goodbye, and my uncle is waiting at the door. As soon as I get inside, he's like, why didn't your friend come in? She should come in and have dinner. And I call Sufi and I'm like, you should come back. So she comes in and has food, and then my family's like, you should stay over. It's kind of late and we don't want you driving back alone at this hour, plus your tail light's out. So Sufi and I find ourselves in bed next to each other on what is still our first date in my extended family's house, who I'm not quite ready yet to tell that I'm dating women.
So I literally knew from the minute that I stepped in and I wasn't going home that night, because that's just how Desi culture is. They feed you and they care about you.
It's cute. We love them. So the next day, Sufi decides to go home.
What? I had to go home. Well, as soon as we woke up, Anjali was like, oh, are you sure you want to go? You can just hang out with us.
Stay for lunch.
And then her Malshi and her uncle were being super nice to me, and I felt so bad saying no, but I was like, dude, I have to go home. I hadn't showered in 4 days.
So eventually I made it back to the city, and Sufi had been invited over again by, this time, Salgari's roommates, who are a queer couple who we love, for pasta night. We were making handmade pasta. Sufi pulls up and I go outside to meet her. She looked so cute. She was wearing this navy kurta set and I love it.
Blue is my favorite color. So I wanted to give Anjali something that she could remember our weekend by. Like, not only the fact that we had met and we had bonded so deeply, but the space that we shared with our friends that weekend. And so I gave her a painting.
I hung it up in my apartment. I'm in the process of moving, but it's going up in this apartment soon. Of course, since Sufi at that point had established herself as my personal chauffeur, she had decided that she was gonna drive me to the airport the next morning. So she ended up staying over.
Again. I just couldn't get enough of her.
Like, in true gay form, we had a 4-day first date. We slept on the couch together, and then she woke up at like 4 in the morning to drive me to the airport for my 6 a.m. flight. It's love, baby. We get to the airport and I am so sleep deprived and I'm crying my eyes out because I know that I'm gonna miss her so much. At that point, we didn't know if or when we were gonna see each other again. A lot was up in the air, and we definitely liked each other.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious by the story. We really, really liked each other. But I was in New York and she was in California, and we had a lot to figure out.
So if you want to hear about how we got from that tearful goodbye at the airport to actually dating to where we are now, definitely let us know in the comments below, or let us know any other questions that you want us to answer.
Yeah.
We made this channel so that we could tell you guys what you want to hear, so we're all ears.
Subscribe.
I think that's like.
Oh.
Like.
Subscribe.
Comment. We're still getting the hang of this thing.
Yeah. We're excited to hear from you, and we're excited to share our story and our journey. See you soon. Bye.